I saw the prince's shadow before I heard his voice. It stretched across the village square like it had a life of its own. And when he spoke, every bird in the trees went quiet. They called him Prince Baya, the Shadow Prince. His kingdom lay across the river, past the thick forest where the sun barely touched the ground. He wasn't our prince, but his name carried weight in our village. He was known for his cruelty, for the way he punished anyone who crossed him. No one said his name louder than a whisper. People said he once burned an entire village to ash because a farmer refused to sell him his land. I never thought I'd see him. People like me, people who didn't matter, never crossed paths with royalty. But on that day, everything changed. It was a market day, busy and loud. I was there to buy millet for my uncle, and I wasn't planning to stay long. But as I handed over the coins, I spotted Shoma, my childhood friend. We started talking, catching up on little things, and I forgot about the time. The market was alive, full of voices and the smells of roasted cassava and fresh fish. But then it happened. The air changed. It became heavy, like a storm was coming. The chatter died down, one voice at a time, until there was only silence. I turned, and that's when I saw him. Prince Baya walked into the market, his guards close behind. They were big men, wearing dark tunics and carrying spears tipped with iron. Their faces were blank, like they weren't even human. The prince himself wasn't tall, but he didn't need to be. His presence was enough. His eyes were sharp and cold, his lips pressed into a thin line. He moved slowly, like he owned the ground beneath his feet. Everyone froze. Some people knelt, others just looked down, avoiding his gaze. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't listen. I felt Shoma's hand grab mine, and her grip was like iron. The prince's eyes scanned the market, and it felt like he was looking for something or someone. He stopped in front of old Nori, the potter. Nori was crouched by his store, arranging his bowls and jugs. He was the kind of man everyone liked, always smiling, always kind. But when he saw the prince, his face went pale. "Where is it?" the prince asked. His voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the silence like a blade. Nori looked up, confused. "Your Highness, I don't understand." The prince's lips curved into something that might have been a smile, but it wasn't kind. "Don't lie to me, old man. The bow. The one you made with the red clay. Where is it?" I didn't know what bow he was talking about, but Nori did. His hand started to shake. I sold it, Your Highness. A few weeks ago. A traveler bought it. The prince tilted his head, studying him. Then he did something that made my stomach turn. He leaned forward and sniffed the air around Nori, like a wild animal catching a scent. "You're lying," he said, his voice cold and sharp. "Do you know what happens to liars in my kingdom?" Nori tried to speak, but no sound came out. The prince snapped his fingers, and his guards grabbed the potter. They dragged him to the center of the square, his bowls clattering to the ground. I wanted to scream, to run, to do anything, but I couldn't move. No one could. We just watched as the prince knelt beside Nori and whispered something in his ear. I don't know what he said, but Nori started shaking his head, tears streaming down his face. "Please," he begged. "I don't have it. I don't have it." The prince stood, his face blank. He waved his hand, and one of the guards struck Nori hard across the head. He fell to the ground, silent. "Let this be a lesson," the prince said, his voice loud now, filling the square. "Don't keep secrets from me." Then he turned and walked away, his guards following. They left Nori lying there, not dead but not alive either. His body was stiff, his skin cracked like dry clay. When some of the men tried to move him later, they couldn't. It was like he had become part of the ground. That night, no one spoke of it. Not openly, at least. But in the quiet, behind closed doors, I heard whispers. Some said Nori had hidden something from the prince, something powerful. Others said the bowl was cursed and should never have been made. I don't know what the truth is. All I know is that sometimes, in my dreams, I see Nori's eyes staring at me, wide and unblinking. And in the silence of the night, I hear the prince's voice, soft and cold, whispering in my ear. "Don't keep secrets from me."